but I really like boar meat. Boar meat and ostrich meat are awesome. Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite meats is... Whoa, what the hell? Is eating... Fuck, reindeer. Reindeer is like that fatty, gamey, like... That's so fucking good.
Oh, magical beasts who...
I mean, ostrich is essentially the same as any, like, larger bird. I mean, it's not quite like chicken, but there's actually a restaurant that serves, like, boar, ostrich, there's some other stuff, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically, they just sell a lot of exotic meat stuff. It's alright. I mean, it's better than most places, I would have to say.
Oh, magical beasts who serve us.
Well, it's not really that simple. You normally have to get hunting licenses, and then you have to have issue permits in some states if you have guns. And if you have... I think there's a regulation on the pounds per square inch for bows, where you have to get like a license to have it out. I know fishing, you have size requirements and stuff, but in general, hunting isn't too nasty. Like, it isn't like some countries like England where you can be sentenced to like 20 years for hunting. Dumb stuff like that. Yeah, whatever. Let's just... you know what? No, we'll just cancel that. I want to see this guy's hideous form now. God, that is just fucking ugly. It also looks like he's air humping something. Ugh. Skyib sounds like either a character in Dune or like a disease you get.
Well, good luck.
But yeah, like, I mean, if you go hunting in like Alaska and stuff, you need like a lot of permits, and you can hunt things like bear and stuff like that, but usually it's only like one per season, and they have limits. You can't like kill a female with cubs. You can't do like a lot of things. So, I mean, actually, let's see if I can sell that other one. Because I guess that's how you make money, is by selling the cocoons.
Don't overdo.
So let's see. Okay. So I can sell these. Well, I know in Pennsylvania you have to have a hunting license, and they're normally issued yearly. You have like restrictions on what you can actually hunt. In places like North Carolina and like Kentucky and stuff, they care a little less. And I think in a lot of southern states they have like open season, where as long as you legally own the firearm, you can go out, and they do like brush sweeps where they'll sweep through a forest in a certain area and scare out all the deer, like flush them out, and you just shoot them as they come at you. But every year, inevitably, because honestly it's the stupidest thing, yeah, let's see how much I get for this.
Oh Lord.
That when people like flush animals from the brush, people will wait up in treetops, like shoot the animals as they run out, which is honestly the most bitch way to hunt. with the people who are sweeping sometimes get shot by people ahead who are like, oh look, there's a deer, and they shoot, totally miss, and just kill someone in the back. It's like the stupidest thing ever.
Well,
like, I get, like, flush hunting makes sense if you're like a starving community or something, but these are like, I'll drive a pickup truck and I'll work at a Quickie Mart. Although a lot of states you can get a fishing permit, although depending on where you're fishing, you won't catch anything that you can actually eat, which is fucking pointless. Just all these. Yeah, but it's not even like they're aiming at the person or think that they're a deer. Like, they're literally, so they'll say there's like a forest that's east to west. A group of people will wait in the west to shoot animals that come through, and a team on the east will sweep through the woods, pushing like deer and other animals out of the woods. I should have used that. And what happens is the eastern team gets closer to the western team. The western team will start firing. Yeah, it's not even the sight. It's not that they see them. They just see the deer and then they shoot, but they miss. And there's someone who's, you know, just a little bit away. Or they're like up in a tree. Yeah, I know. It's the stupidest thing. Like, why would you say, okay, I'm going to walk towards these people who are shooting at animals in my direction? Like, how fucking stupid are you? But then again, they're also the same people who think coal is the future. Fucking idiots. Oh, 2 hit points. Wow, that's a game-breaking item. Should nerf that shit. Oh, actually, can I sleep at my house? Because I'd really like to, like, not have to use items to heal myself back up again.
Are you doing being I can teach you?
So I really can't sleep.
Take
Is there really no way to, like, outside combat heal? Well, that sucks. Just go sleep in the cemetery. Also remember that just because people have guns, it doesn't mean they know how to use them properly. I mean, come on. The former vice president, Dick Cheney, shot his hunting partner in the back of the head. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, how do you even do that? No, I want to run. I'm used to, like, circle as run, so it's like setting me off. No, I don't think it was either. Dick Cheney is the type of person who would, like, be like, yeah, let's go hunting, and then take him out and shoot him in the back of the head. Well, they also had, I was watching one of those crime story things, and it was about a hunting party that went out, and this one dude got accidentally shot, and they tried to get help for him, but he died by the time paramedics arrived. So the police like investigated to see if it was actually accidental or not, and stupid fuck, they were searching the cabin and around the crime scene just to see what exactly happened, and the dude in his diary just straight up wrote that he wanted to kill the guy, and basically all the other people who were with him were in on it, and they intentionally shot him, like shot him to make sure that he would die. And it's like really, like, you didn't think nobody would investigate this? Like, why would you write it in your diary, you dumb fuck? Like, some shit you just don't write down. Like, especially if you're gonna kill someone, you don't let anybody know that you want to kill them. You keep that shit secret. Okay, at this point I'm just wandering around this. You know what? Give me some experience. I know. You're not a 15-year-old girl. You don't need a diary. I wish I could see how close they are. Yeah, you go. Mukambu, go! It is one of those questions. Like, the only thing I generally keep, a ship's captain in the 1700s. That's a good point. I mean, I'll write stuff down if I get an idea for something. I'll just be like, yeah, I'll write this down. But not like, dear diary, today I ate a brownie. And I want to murder my friend. Are you getting aggressive with me? Really? Yeah, I can do that too. I just don't get it. I mean, like, it'd be another thing if they just like looked at your text messages, but if you're text messaging someone about killing someone else, you deserve whatever happened to you. Oh, speaking of which, you'll like this, man. So, there's a lady suing Walmart because while outside, her son died, and they wanted. And I was like, okay, well, what is he, like some 16-year-old kid that was outside Walmart and got hit by a car or some dumb shit? No. He was a 41-year-old man who was caught stealing, and he was stealing $56 worth of random crap. Not even groceries, just like random crap from what I could see. And 41-year-old man stealing stuff from Walmart, and security grabbed him, and he tried to run, and they like basically tackled him and took him to the pavement. Because technically the parking lot was Walmart property, so they could get away with it. And they held him down on the ground while he tried to resist. And he was like doing the typical, like, when you get tackled thing. Where it's like, oh, I can't breathe, ugh, get off me. Like, no, I'm not getting up because you're a fucking thief. So then the police arrived on scene, and apparently he had been held on the concrete, which was about 135 degrees due to the sun. Because I don't know where it was, probably California, and or Texas or some shit. But so the guy apparently died, and they did a coroner review to see what his cause of death was, and it showed that there was a sign of a struggle, and that obviously he was struggling, but he was also massively intoxicated. Now, mind you, he died at like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the morning. So it wasn't even like he was like drunk at night and got caught stealing. Like, I understand if you're like I was wasted and I stole this shit, or I was drunk and didn't think about it when I left the store. Like, I get that. But no, this is a 41-year-old dude who was, like, day drunk in the morning, stole $50 worth of stuff from Walmart, and got tackled by security and ended up dying on the pavement. And she's like, this tragedy can't go on. It's like, no, you deserved that. Like, who cares? Oh, and it full heals you. I'll have to remember that. But, and they made this whole thing about, like, this kind of tragedy can't be allowed to continue. And I'm like, it isn't a tragedy. He was a fucking thief that got caught and paid the price. Like, play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Of course, his was cooking on pavement until he died. But they couldn't tell whether it was due to the massive amount of intoxication or it was from him being suffocated or otherwise, because he didn't appear suffocated. So he probably had, like, a heart attack. It's also one of those things where she can try to sue Walmart. And if you try to sue someone for, like, a wrongful death and they're in commission of a crime, you're never going to win. Like, a judge will just stare you in the face and be like, you committed a crime and you died. It's like suing the police for wrongful death when you're shooting at them and they shoot back and kill you. And you're like, my son was just an innocent person and the cops just mowed him down. I mean, I know he was shooting at them, but they didn't have to shoot him back. Like, oh, fuck off. And the worst part is people have tried that. I watched this whole thing about this, like, whole ghetto hoochie lady who was like, they killed my boyfriend for no reason. He was prejudiced against, and literally,
Halt, boy!
well done.
I've heard rumors of men who disguise themselves as cocoon masters to poach game here. You may be one of them. We must find out whether or not you're the real thing.
Looks like bug catcher Billy has fought me too, or has decided to challenge me. Let's put out new shab. Yeah, so basically she tried to sue the police department and they were outright like, yeah, you were shooting at police officers. And there's a whole video of him shooting and, like, obvious with the intention to kill police officers. And they just open fired on him. It's like, that's not a wrongful death. That's called justified homicide. But I know. I do like, another good one I saw was oh, you don't have anything. Oh, I see a lot of good ones. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, it was there was a case of a police officer shooting, of course, some poor innocent hero that's a contributor to the community. And oh, yeah, Mukambu, he's about to get a level. And they were like, these white racist cops came and shot him and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, shoot him in the legs when he's shooting at my head. No, you get shot in the face. I always think if people run and they're a violent suspect or something like that, the police should just be able to free shoot at them. Because I'm sick of this shit, people running from cops and bullshit. Like, if you're running from a cop, obviously you're doing something wrong, so it really doesn't matter. Just like, you forfeited your life. Yeah, why couldn't they tase him? Ugh, that's like the worst. It's like because he had a gun and he was shooting at people. Like, he could have killed some random innocent person. But anyway, they made this whole big deal about how it was like this big racist event and all this nonsense. And it turned out the cop that shot him was black. And they were like, it was like the most awkward thing I've ever seen. Like they didn't even realize that it wasn't a racist thing, and then they try to say like, oh, the whole establishment is racist.
Ow! That hurts! Alright, that's all for now. Master Chorus's cottage lies ahead. Go on! Get out of here! Next time I won't go so easy on you!
That's totally the kid from the village. Yeah, pretty much. He's a race trader. Aquazor. Go, Aquazor! I'm just like, at this point, I'm just sick of hearing all this nonsense. It's like, if you think a white cop shooting a black person is racist, you're the racist because you're telling that there's a fucking difference. But inevitably somebody will probably, yeah, he has internalized. It's due to the system that continually, you know, degrades us. It has nothing to do with what I was doing. Whoa, that's a marked jump in enemies. Yeah, you know what? Let's summon some air. Take my Fartmon. But I also watched this Hispanic kid debating his teacher about how his teacher thought she was smarter than a dictionary. And it was like the saddest thing I've ever seen. I wouldn't go that far. We're all hairless monkeys that have learned language. Ugh. But, and then basically she ended up calling him basically a race traitor and saying that, like, oh, like, you're completely wrong and you're trying to rearrange the narrative and all this bullshit. Like, it's not like people try to present facts anymore. They just say, like, you're changing the narrative. You're a white supremacist. You know, you're a Nazi. And it's like, if you don't have facts to debate when the facts, like, oppose your opinion, you can't just call somebody a Nazi and win. Like, it doesn't work like that. But I always think that stuff is just like, ugh, it's just cringy. I know you're out here basking in the sun, but it's time to die. I wonder if they die permanently. I'm gonna guess that my monsters probably do die permanently. I don't know. A long time ago, I had someone tell me that I'm responsible. What? Why did you get 2 attacks? Oh, I guess the switch technically counted. You know, oh, you're slave owning past and stuff. I was like, nobody in my family ever owned slaves. My family came from Ireland like 2 generations ago. Like, don't even play this game. But then again, I did have... Yeah. I hate that education has any political bias. I think it's disgusting. Like, it's one thing if you want to have a class about political science and talk both sides, but, like, the far left and far right can go fuck themselves. It's like how people always make fun of that Republican quandary about, like, oh, we should ban abortion, but, you know, I'm against abortion, or, no, not that. Fuck, I screwed that one up, never mind, ignore that. But that whole, like...
So, the son of the Lion of Peril is even more talented than I had thought. I looked up the calabash herb in my books, but in the end, I found nothing. However, there is a folk tale that describes a dust that wakes the sleeping. It is the story of a wondrous powder kept by a half-bird, half-man named Kikinak, who lives in the Dragonfly Forest. Perhaps that powder is brewed from the calabash leaves. This is only a guess, and it's all I could find. But I think it is worth looking into. Here is the key to the Dragonfly Gate. You should have it.
I don't think I'm ready for the Dragonfly Gate yet, but sure.
You'd better head straight back to the village and consult with Garai.
She's gonna teleport me back.
She may know something about the tale of Kikinak.
Kinky knock.
You must do your best before it is too late.
The Divine Spirit defies the Great Father and throws off his shackles. He is now bound to the chains of freedom.
Birdman. Yep, it's gonna teleport me back into Story Bomb.
So, even Chorus does not know. But I do remember hearing the tale of the Birdman. There is a similar story of divine spirits in Nagi legend as well.
Yeah, I guess. I'll hear your story of creation.
Elrum released his minions, the divine spirits, unto peril. He spake, "Thou shalt not become what presides over life." And so they spent days bringing life to the forest and giving names unto themselves. And then one day, a spirit made up its mind to create a beast in its own image. Elrum warned, "That creature is the beast of knowledge, and it will someday bring temptation upon you.
Temptation is good.
Thou shalt not associate with it." The divine spirit so promised, and gave birth to the beast of its own image. Such was the birth of man, the beast of knowledge, as told by the prophet Gi. As the sands of time flowed on, the beasts bore children, and so continued to multiply. Soon a fateful day came to the forest. One of the divine spirits fell in love with the daughter of man, and so the promise was at last broken. Elrum punished the divine spirit for its sin by transforming it into a beast. Descendants of that divine spirit dwell still in the forest, and sometimes they reveal themselves to us. The Birdman, Kikinok, as mentioned in the folk tales of peril, might be referring to this spirit.
Alright, well, that's enough of that creation story.
We should seek out Kikinok, the legendary Birdman. Enter the Dragonfly Forest, but be warned, an average cocoon master is no match for the denizens within. And be sure to ask the old gravekeeper about the legends. He is the storyteller of Cyrus, and should know much about the fables of old.
Make my Kakuna better.
Doing divine math.
No, she said something new. Makes her feel sluggish. Well, you gotta get to work, lady.
Our enemy we love and
Yeah, I mean, the far right is pretty nuts. They're like, oh yeah, I want to get rid of abortions and, you know, also get rid of birth control, but I'm perfectly okay with the death penalty and killing people later. Like, it's just one of those, like, like, do you not see the contradiction in what you're saying? But they don't care. Both sides are these, like, paid corporate lackeys that
oh magical be
design themselves to be, like, working for the people. And it's pathetic. Well, they're always like, oh, every life is precious. Every life is precious, except for these criminals. Except for this. A newborn is not innocent.